Kurt Meeder, and I am in San Diego, California, and I am currently participating in one deal. It was the option that was available at the time. Most of the opportunities that Ashcroft had at the time was in this space by the time that we invested. Seems to be performing well in the current environment. I keep track of the occupancy rate, right? Pretty safe and secure. I mean, we did our research, the insurance component should a natural disaster or something happen. And we looked at the history of single family and what the history, not only with you guys, but Wildthorn, some of the other competitors, right? We looked at the return on investment. We looked at, well, projected, right? Historical. Return on investment. We had meetings with all of the big, whatever, 4 companies, whatever, 3 or 4, whatever it is. So did an intro, felt good about you guys, liked the property that was available at that point in time. And the decision was based upon the amount of money that we wanted to test with. What we're doing right now is an initial test, right? And yeah, I mean, I got the warm fuzzy from you guys after we did our initial research and discussions. I said to every company, the returns don't make sense. I said point blank, that the returns, they just don't make sense to me. We have a lot of investments, as you know, and we hadn't really looked at this space, and we were looking to dump money into something, and hope to do a lot more, by the way. I just said to everyone, the return on the money in the period of time doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. And so just having that explained, and finally it clicked with me when somebody said, Kurt, this is how the rich get richer. And that was the main comment that, and I had done a bunch of research. I wanted to make sure this wasn't a scam, right? Or some sort of thing. So that was my concern initially, is the money makes no sense. The return in the 5 to 7 years makes zero sense whatsoever, as far as percentage increase. And that was answered, and we continued. You guys are great. The communication is friggin' outstanding, whether it be on the performance of my current investment or upcoming opportunities in your printed communications, the prospectuses that you guys send. It's pretty friggin' killer, dude. You guys do a great job on that. The communication is outstanding. You guys are very responsive when I send questions. The diversity of your deals is amazing. Your scale in your space is impressive. What else? Yeah, you guys have been great to work with thus far. You throw money at something, historical data has ridiculous returns, and you don't do a thing. Love it. My wife wants to buy a house somewhere. I got to manage that stuff. I don't want to do any of that. And the returns on this in a shorter time frame is, I don't need to own a property, right? I need return on money and tax write-offs, right? So that would be number one. You guys are incredible about communicating. I mean, I would say, if anything, you over communicate. I mean, I don't understand the white piece of paper that comes in the magazine. It's like a total waste, right? So the sketch, anyway, it doesn't matter. The communication is ridiculous. I don't even know how many months we're in, but it seems to be fairly consistent, and the check keeps coming. Well, the check keeps coming every month, and it hasn't diminished based upon occupancy. We're at 98% plus every month, I think. And I'm looking at that horizon. I'm looking at that 5 to 7 years. Now, I have no idea how COVID impacts that, potentially. But I know, a gallon of gas costs $150 here. So I know that if it was to sell, it probably would sell at a premium. People have cash, enterprises have cash, and they're looking for places to dump it. So everything's for sale all the time. Check keeps coming. You guys communicate great. I mean, So far, it's been a very pleasant, and I don't have to do anything except cash a check, right? So I'm all about that. If the test proves itself out, not only will we do it again, I am very curious about the self-storage opportunities that come up. Definitely would invest in another large community. I need the test to prove itself out. And the end of that test will be when it sells and how much money I make. You guys have been great. I don't know. I got the full history on you guys. I mean, I think your main dude came out of the guy that kind of started this at Wildthorn or something like that. I can't remember exactly what the history was. I've learned a lot about your industry. You guys are pretty tight knit, right? So I think you try not to encroach upon your competitors' geographies, right? Which I think is cool. I mean, in all honesty, Cody, I might try something with one of your competitors. It seems like the returns are fairly, I'll use this term loosely, universal across the big players, right? You guys keep buying bigger and bigger stuff. It's amazing some of the stuff you guys are buying. I mean, you know, you're going to be at billion-dollar acquisitions at some point, right? I like the idea that I'm in with hundreds of other people, and some of them are, I forgot to mention one thing that's super important, actually. I really like the idea that I'm in with billionaires and I'm in with people that make a lot less money than I do. But what I really like is you guys put your own money in. And that is super impressive and important. And the fact that you tell us how much money you're putting in is super cool.